Donald Trump gave a press conference yesterday, and no one is quite sure why. I have an idea. We will play some of the absolute insanity that went on there. I mean, it's interesting because it does not help him to get out there in a way that draws this kind of attention to him. I personally don't think. He plays best to his audience. But I think the idea was sort of revealed, and I don't know that he was out there to say this, but I think this was ultimately the idea. This is clip number 16. He is at Mar-a-Lago, and he's asked about his lighter campaign schedule. He really, now, I remember
campaigning with Vance, which is interesting. Like Vance has not been, and
I don't know how strange that is. I mean, they do their barnstorming tour together, and then they go out separately. But it's easy to read too much into the implications of this, because in 2016, I remember distinctly saying the guy's lazy. He doesn't get out there very much, and they have no ground game, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there was a lot of mistakes made by the Clinton campaign at that time, particularly in the context of the ground game. They did some modeling as opposed to canvassing because they didn't have quite the core of volunteers that they thought they might need or want. And I imagine that's a very different scenario this time around, but one can only hope. But why would Donald Trump go out and do a press conference now? And I think here he reveals the aspirations.
Okay. Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot, and because I'm letting their convention go through, and I am campaigning a lot.
Pause it for a second. Now, I just look, first of all, we know he's not leading by a lot. There are some polls where he's up by a couple of points. There's some polls where he's down by a couple of points and maybe more. Frankly, if I wanted to get nitpicky about it, I would say the polls that he's up by a couple of points are well within the margin of error. To the extent that there's any polling where they're outside the margin of error, Harris is leading, but he's not leading by a lot to justify those 7 days. The idea that he's going to let their convention go through, why would you do that?
Which is so funny, because that used to be like an old kind of gentleman's agreement between the parties. But who broke that was Obama. Obama decided, because what we want to do is actually win the election. So right. Is Trump just respecting the old norms of the pre-Obama Republican and Democratic parties, or is there something else going on here?
No, there was something else going on. And but I think, has he not been out there since the interview he did with the National Black Journalists Association?
And people are guessing he may have had COVID, but also, and I referenced this yesterday, we'll have Crystal on in a bit, I also think he enjoys having basically J.D. Vance go out and audition, humiliate himself and show his fealty to a certain degree and go out on a limb by himself. I think that's a part of what he likes, right? He likes showing dominance and having people serve him.
That might be it. It also could be just taking a little time to do some self-care. But all right, go ahead.
Convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country, because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside perspective. Russia doesn't respect us anymore. China doesn't respect us anymore. North Korea, Kim Jong-un liked me a lot.
Really liked him a lot. I mean, I think really honestly, the reason why his people sent him out to do a press conference now, maybe just as a way of like their failure to set up rallies for him. Remember, I do think it's still operable that in some of the key states where he needs to have rallies, right? Like it was only like, I don't know, a dozen states where you really want to drive the vote because you realize like these are the ones that are competitive. And within the context of that, there's certain locations and counties that are most important. And all the reporting suggests that he had, and now they're going, they need to go back inside for these rallies because of, in the wake of the assassination attempt, the campaign from the last time still owes money to a lot of these venues. And so they can't get back into these venues because they're saying like, we're not going to, fool me once type of situation. It's possible that, but I also do think Harris's strategy has been to basically say like, we're going to do campaign stuff, but we're not going to do a lot of like, day-to-day press reporting questions. We're not going to answer those until, I think their plan is to wait until basically after Labor Day. I mean, the convention is going to dominate everything. The pick for VP, all these things have been like sort of spread out in such a way so that there is a built-in news sort of cycle domination. And that's the strategy. From a journalistic perspective and on some level as a citizen, like I would like to know more about what Harris's policies are in a concrete manner. We're going to talk to Crystal Ball in a moment about, one or two in particular, but as a campaign strategy, it seems pretty effective. You're on a roll. And if you can avoid, doing a press conference and dealing with sort of like some of the sticky questions, that's what they're going to attempt to do. And I think Donald Trump did the press conference. I don't know that it was his idea, but the idea to basically be able to say, Donald Trump's doing press conferences. Why isn't Kamala Harris? And I just don't think that's going to work, particularly when he goes out there and executes the press conference in that way.
Yeah,
But
I don't think it's going to work. I think the strategy's not bad from his end because he really has very little to grasp onto. Like they're trying to pretend that Tim Walz's 24-year military service was somehow fraudulent. Like that's what they're going for. He just says she's stupid, or that's usually his go-to with women. And I don't
that's
think
a coincidence.
Right. I wish you'd do a sit down. Like I wish he would really clarify some of these positions because I think particularly on Gaza, it's going to reach a fever pitch at a certain point. But the campaign right now doesn't have any incentive to, because apparently they're being smart from their point of view. And they've been having members of the press, I think written press, on the plane with her. And she's been answering questions for them for pieces that will be maybe more long form and come out later. So that's in partly the campaign strategy, satiating the media by doing that. And we should also say, this is the same campaign infrastructure that Biden had, not the advisors that were doing the horrible, no ads anywhere or no ad buys, but the campaign infrastructure is still there. And they were quite adept at keeping Biden away from the media. It's just
they had even a bigger incentive, and
Harris can actually, though, do the other parts of campaigning, which is making that criticism a lot less salient, obviously.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of path dependency. And of course, remember, this is a campaign that is only, 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old?
2.5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.